Hi YouTube. So, oh God, like you're gonna have to excuse me for not being as enthusiastic making this video because I've been trying to make this fucking video for like the past 2 days. But anyways, hopefully this is the final, like attempt or draft. But I just wanted to talk about being outed as a trans person. And at the end of the day, like, it almost feels like it is in like the terms and conditions somewhere that if you're trans or if you're a person of trans experience, at some point you are going to get outed by someone. And look, I'm not saying like it's right or anything, because if we have to be honest, it is an invasion of privacy, and it really puts you in such a dangerous position. So let me paint a picture. I was at work. So at work we have free drinks. So I get to work and I get to the bar section, and I was wearing this like copper dress, and it was like super, super short. I make my way over to the bar. Now, unbeknownst to me, there were these three guys, and one of them was from the Czech Republic. They immediately noticed me walking to the bar, and you know how guys are. They started going on about how like attractive they thought I was. Now, in their group, there was a girl who had gone there to smoke with them. She didn't know these guys. They did not know her. They were just all smoking together. Now, when they made the comment about me being attractive or whatever, that's when this girl took it upon herself to let them know that I was transgender. Now, obviously, the guys were kind of like taken aback. They were really shocked. Now, the main guy, the main guy in the story, he reacted the way that a lot of guys react when a trans girl they were just finessing about gets outed. He was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, this, that, and the other. And he was embarrassed. So I'm going to come back to that guy later in this story. I meet up with my German friend at the bar, and we have a couple of drinks, and we decide we're going to go to this karaoke bar. We get to the karaoke bar, and everyone's having a good time. I meet up with her friends. One of her friends is this white dude. I start finessing with this dude. We're having a good time. We're drinking. As we're talking, another guy comes up to me. We're going to call him Wingman. So Wingman is trying to get me to talk to his other friend. So at this point I tell him, I'm like, no thank you, I'm okay, like it's chill. I'm kind of finessing with white dude on the corner. So Wingman kind of changes his story, and then he's all like, oh well, do you want to have a drink with me? And he starts flirting with me. And I'm like, dude, you are like the worst wingman ever. So we're all drinking, we're all having a good time. I'm drinking with the white dude, and Wingman is on my corner trying to talk to me. Lo and behold, I find out that Wingman actually lives close to where I stay. He lived, I think, 2 streets or 3 streets from where I stay. So at the end of the night, everyone is leaving, and Wingman is like, look, I'm going to get an Uber, and we can drop you off at your place since it's on the way. So I'm like, cool, whatever. Finish my drink, and I leave with Wingman and this white dude. We get into the Uber. Do these guys not pass my place? They literally just passed my place. And I'm like, yo, dude, what's up? You just passed like my apartment. And they're like, no, it's totally cool. We're just going to have some drinks at my place, and then we're going to take you home. So it's like 12:30 at this point, so it's still fairly early in the evening. So I'm like, cool, whatever. We get to Wingman's place. Remember the Czech guy that I was talking about in the beginning of the story? Yeah, him. I get inside, and lo and behold, Wingman lives with like 3 guys that I work with. And as soon as I walk in, it's the same 3 guys who saw me at the bar. So I recognize their faces, and obviously they recognize me, and everybody's drunk, and they're like, oh my God, you're that girl from the bar. So I'm like, oh, that's so crazy. So we all like work together. So at this point, I'm talking to the guys. I'm sitting on the counter table, and they're all like surrounding me, and we're having like a friendly conversation. The Czech guy, the one who was the most interested in me, granted, like I know him now, and at this point in our knowing each other, I wouldn't say he's into me, but definitely when he first met me, he definitely was interested in me. He's staring at me, and he leans closer, and he's like, no offense, but were you born a man before? Those are his exact words, verbatim. So the whole thing is, with me being trans, it's not something that I'm like embarrassed or ashamed or worried about. It is what it is. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, like I'm totally trans. So he's like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. So during that night, I end up talking more to the Czech guy because I realized Wingman and the white dude had it in their mind that I was going to have a threesome with them. So I was trying to stay clear from those 2 guys because, come on. So I'm busy talking with the Czech guy, and during the course of the night, he started doing what a lot of guys do who find out you're transgender. The thing is, a lot of guys do become embarrassed, and they feel like they need to somehow defend their masculinity and basically dog you out in order to make themselves feel good. So he started going on about how, oh, he can't believe that I'm transgender. I can't believe that you're a man. I can't believe like you have a dick. This, that, and the other. You know what they say. And then he was like, this boy was like, oh, like your life is so shit. He didn't phrase it like that. He basically said, oh, like there's so much discrimination in the world and everybody hates transgender people. Your life is so shit. I feel so bad for you. You know, when someone is trying to sound like an ally, but also making a point at the same time. And then I think this is where like the conversation really started to take a turn for the worst. Not that everything else that he'd been saying was good, but it really started to take a turn to the worst when he was like, he started looking for things to identify me as trans. Like he kept going on about, he was like, oh, I could tell that you were born a man because your hands are so big. I could tell you were born a man because your voice is so deep. He was also like, God, he was like, oh, and your feet are really, really big. That's how I can tell you were born a man. And like, I wear like size 8 shoes in South Africa. You know what I mean? Like 2 of my friends, you know, like I don't even have to defend myself. But he just kept going on and on and on. And at some point, I took out my cell phone from my bag, and he was like, oh, I can tell you were born a man because your bag is so small. Look, I'm not the type of person who like tries to engage in petty arguments like that. Look, at the end of the day, I am a person of trans experience. Yes, I was genetically born male, and yes, you know, when you're genetically born male, your body develops in a certain kind of way. And it may have led to me having a deeper voice or whatever. But I'm not going to, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to break myself down just because I don't meet your standards of what you think a woman should be. I'm not going to feel some type of way or like start hating myself even more just because you feel that I don't meet all of the criteria to be considered female. I know I'm trans. It's been well established. And I feel these guys, like, they become so embarrassed for wanting us. And part of it has to do with the fact that society shames men that are attracted to trans women. But at the same time, that doesn't make any of what he said correct or right. So, you know, he kept going on, and eventually he dropped me off home. And got into his car, and I was like directing him, and he kept saying like, oh, I can tell you were born a man because you're really good at directions. I'm like, I need to get the fuck up out of this car. And that had been, I think, every time that I'd met him since then, he would always try to bring up the whole transgender thing and talk about me being trans and how it's like this weird, unusual thing. And I've had guys who've done that before. There was another guy who was into me, and somebody told him I was trans. And I worked with him, and he kept talking about how, oh, you know, it's genetically impossible to change genders, or this, that, and the other. And he would just say an array of crazy things. But the funny thing is, these very same men who feel, you know, it's their right, or who feel like it's their duty to tell you how like disgusting and horrible you are, they're the same ones who are checking you out. They're the very same ones who are out there looking for you, who are out there liking your pictures on Instagram. They're the ones who send you these private DMs. It really is messed up. But if you allow yourself to get caught up in all of the bullshit that these guys and sometimes these girls have in store for us, it's going to be a tough journey. Look, I think at this point in time, being transgender is sensational. And people are going to either pick up that you're trans or let it be known that you're trans. And they're going to clock you and out you. And it's okay. It really, really is okay. But my thing is, if you are going to clock me when I'm at my shit, when I'm doing my shit, when I'm on top of my game. Clock me when I'm employee of the month. Clock me when I'm succeeding in life. Clock me when I'm looking as fucking fish as the rest of them. Clock me in my confidence. You know, when these people like point us out as being trans, make sure that you are like 100% on your best shit. Because I want these people like I want these guys and these girls and whatever to see me at my absolute best. To know that, yes, a transgender woman that you see as so sensational and so freaky can be on top of her game, and she's still fucking gorgeous. Look, it doesn't matter what these people say. It doesn't even matter how many times they clock you, or they out you, or they tell their friends. It doesn't speak to the person that you are. You are, we all are, so much bigger than their small minds. We're bigger than their insecurities. We're bigger than their closeted feelings. We're bigger and we're greater, and we are going to stand and rise above all of this. And to be honest, if I had to choose this life all over again, if I was given the opportunity, knowing what I know now, to transition or to not transition, of course I would have transitioned. Because no amount of bullshit coming out of a stupid person's mouth is ever going to make my life terrible. There is beauty in my life, despite my deep-ass voice or my hands or my feet. There is beauty in my life, and there's beauty in your life. So basically, this video is just a short message to say, yeah, we're going to get clocked. Yeah, there are things in our physical appearance that are going to give us away, but it's okay. Thank you so much for watching. It was more of a rant than anything else, but just know that you are beautiful and you are wonderful. Thank you for watching. Bye.